Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is April 6th, 2025. Howard, are you enjoying the current market?
I am. I'm buying a couple, so I'm buying some Nvidia at 87. Some Robinhood. I lost my voice. This is all on you. Walk us through this thing.
All right. I mean, the market currently is in a panic selling mode, in a liquidation mode.
Yeah.
Definitely some hedge funds
Oh yeah.
blowing up late last week, and we're seeing some deleveraging.
Yeah.
And it's all about the new tariff war that the US government is staging against the rest of the world. I think every single country is getting tariffed at least 10%. The only
Yeah.
exception is Vaticana. So maybe now it's a good time to start a business, import-export business out of Vaticana.
Well, I
And
mean, where do you think we open here below 400?
yeah, the markets,
Go back to a weekly high. Go back to a week.
Futures are down another right now 5.5%. So yeah, that's around 400. Um,
Yeah, I think we're below. Let me just look it up. I mean, this is kind of anywhere between three and 400. I'm
yeah,
keep.
400. That was basically the previous high from 2021, and that's technical support. Obviously if buyers step up, but definitely also a place where short sellers are going to be covering. But sometimes in a panic tape, market don't bottom until there is some news, either from the government about some trade deals that they've done, or from the Federal Reserve with some emergency rate cuts. Uh, Typically during the worst bear market, this is kind of the case that the market is kind of waiting. But yeah, it seems like the QQQ is not too far from testing. It's rising. I think this is the 50-month, yeah, the 50-month moving average,
Where is
which
that at? 380. So
380.
the way I'm doing it is I'm buying this open tomorrow. I'll buy it all the way down to 320. Average at 360 over a couple weeks. I got backpedal if I have to, but these are like kind of there's going to be, there's definitely a major change in policy so that the world is shrinking. Valuations are going to creep lower. The next 3 months, you're going to have every company just throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Trump just gave them an excuse. Um, but right now you're in liquidation, so you're going to get better prices if you're a buyer, at least for a trade.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's take the worst case scenario. Let's assume that we have entered a bear market that could last a year. Let's say it's something like 2007, 2008. It might not be, and probably it's not. But let's assume the worst case scenario, just for game purpose. Um, Even during the worst bear markets, you're going to see very powerful short-term rallies. So if you're a trader, it's a great environment, and you can make a lot of money if you're active, if you're nimble.
Yeah,
Uh, and if you're a you know, like a position trader, longer term investor, um, I think there'll be much easier times to trade, when all the indices are back above their 200-day moving average, and all those macro changes that you're talking about, yes, they're going to probably pummel a lot of businesses, but they're also going to start new trends. Out of those new trends, there will be stocks that are going to go up 1,000% or more. I don't know which those companies are right now, but in the next few months, they're going to show up. They're going to start setting up. They're going to start breaking out,
yeah.
and there will be opportunities. But you have to be patient and you have to protect your capital in this environment. because
Yeah, I mean, the good news is we were telling people the last 2 weeks. Like last week I went through the tape, Ivan, and we were talking about 420, kind of joking.
yeah,
So I'm not, when I get a price at 400, I mean, I'm, VIX 50 or whatever we open it, or I'm a buyer.
yeah, of course.
But it's,
I mean, don't go all in, obviously, but
no, 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 no. I'm
you have,
saying like my plan is, I'm just sharing it with people. It's like if I can average 360 over a week, and that's the goal, right? So that's the first hit. And I think my thinking is I don't know what Trump will do, but the screaming will be really loud and the liquidations will happen. So you're going to get dislocation. And I like, it's just, I've always worked well in the dislocation. But again, it's probably a trade.
yeah, definitely there is a big trade shaping up and coming up
Yeah.
this week. And even if the White House doesn't do anything, you have Congress, you have the Fed,
Yeah.
someone is going to
And
be,
they could lower rates. I don't think he should, but they could. So again,
yeah.
it trade. If we look at Palantir, I mean, that's the one that's got to hit the 200 day. That's the one that
I mean,
everybody's low.
I have put options on Palantir, which I'll
Yeah.
probably cover tomorrow,
Yeah. Good
close
for you.
tomorrow morning. Um,
I think you'll be able to cover that in the 60s.
and yeah, probably my open near 200 day, near 60.
Yeah. I think it'll fill that gap in the 50s, and you probably have some kind of bounce if we get down that fast.
It's
120.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
what?
I'm just gonna, I use the term stinky bid, but I'm sticking to the most institutionally followed, and on the ones that I like Dutch Brothers and Robinhood, like there's not enough institutional support, but their coffee prices are going to go up. Their customer doesn't care. It's not international. If I look at Shake Shack, all these restaurants just got hammered. The strongest ones just got hammered on the tariff. I mean, this was all-time highs a month ago. The business hasn't changed. I mean, for them, maybe international, but I look at Dutch Brothers and I'm like, okay, I'm buying this 50% off, two huge earning gaps. But again, not enough institutional support and go back to 30. So, it's in the 40s tonight, and this is a total DGen winner.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right longer term, but in the medium term, shorter term, they
Yeah,
can always go lower. And
yeah,
if the
yeah.
market is pricing in a serious recession, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter that they don't have exposure
No, I'm just
to the
going through some
world.
ideas that I look at. Like this is a brand that I wanted and I missed and have done the work. Same with Robinhood. It has some international exposure, but the stock hit 60, Robinhood, and now it's trading in the 20s. The
Um,
business has just exploded.
yeah,
So you're going to buy this stock below its IPO price. Company's 5x the size, and has a great business and is growing. So anything in the 20s is to me is interesting. So, and then other than that, I'm sticking with indexes. Nvidia is another one that like CEO. I'm not gonna bet against that CEO in the 80s. So you may see it in the 60s, but I'm kind of rooting for the 60s. But again, you know, at 150, people couldn't fucking get enough of this shit. So, and
yeah.
these triple leveraged ETFs, I mean, they're all going to blow up. I'm surprised.
Some of them, I mean, it just depends, how they're structured, how quickly the market falls. Typically, the volatility ones are the ones that can, move at 50%, 100% in a day. So that could lead to a blow up. But the longer term ones, they could experience 90 to 99% drawdowns, but they can survive. I think something like
Is this
TQQQ. This
where's
is the
the trade?
Nasdaq, and
Yeah, so this will open in the 20s.
so 5.5%. So maybe another, let's call it 17 to 20% from here. So in the 30s, I would say, maybe right
Yeah.
here.
It was 100 at the beginning of the year. Like, these people are getting their fucking
I mean, this in
eyes ripped.
2022 during the bear market, it went from 90 to 16. So these are great
The
swing
difference
trading,
this time,
position trading
Ivan,
vehicles.
it didn't blow up then because it was a slow decline. this we're talking about the same type of decline in 2 weeks. So some of these are going to
I mean,
have,
that was kind of the COVID situation, right? When it went from 30 to 8
yeah,
in like what, in a month and a half.
yeah,
So
maybe
it's a
not this
very
one, but
similar
I think some of
situation.
the other ones will blow up. Like
S-
maybe not the TQQQ,
Some
but
they might. Yeah, people need to be careful. Like if you're doing the indices, I would stick to TQQQ or the SPXL if you're doing the leverage because these are the ones that are less likely to blow up.
yeah,
Or just individual stocks and non-leveraged ETFs.
yeah. I think other than that, we'll wait till next week. I don't think we can tell people much other than, if if you're going to own them, I just went through NVIDIA, QQQ, the levels. I don't think
Yeah,
you don't have to be fancy.
yeah. I mean,
And
next week
cover
is
your
going to offer
shorts tomorrow.
opportunities.
You're
Uh,
going to cover.
Even if you're a long-term investor, like for example, I'm transferring, a little bit more money to my son's 529 educational account, which is just invested in the basic S&P 500. I'm averaging there every month just because I don't have other options. They
Yeah,
don't really allow you to trade those money.
yeah,
So I'm just gonna put some more money to work, but he has, 17 more years. So it doesn't matter, like even if I'm not right about
right.
a bounce.
This is a
And
great,
and
and
if
for
you're
those people,
short
this is a great time. I told my daughter on Friday to get ready to put some money to work this week. And
and if you're a short-term trader, there'll be a great opportunity
yeah, I
uh,
think
to play a
that's,
bounce, even if it's a bear market that will last a year. There'll be many, bounces along the way that
yeah.
you can play.
If you held off, congrats. If you were short, triple congrats. But I think you might be overstaying. Listen again, the person not to bet on the rational thing is not Trump. But if we pull the cues up, if someone had told you where we were in January, where we would be, you know, at 400, below 400, no one would have taken that. Well, a few people would take the bet, obviously, and they made a fortune. Um, but I'd look at Tesla and that's just blindsided a whole cult. It's gone. If you look at the daily, this was all-time highs.
Yeah, I mean, there was a false breakout here to all-time highs and then a swift reversal. And
Look at the
now
daily.
it's
It's trading at 200 tonight.
the volume weighted average price since their big breakout here in 2019 is 180. And, when I mentioned that a few months ago, a lot of people said, I'm crazy, but it's pretty close to testing it. Um,
Yeah, we'll be at 200 tonight if we're at the daily. Pull up the daily.
yeah, this is a daily.
Yeah, we're going to be around 200, so we'll be right there. Yeah. All right. Good
All
luck,
right.
everybody,
Thank you,
this week.
Howard. See you
Okay.
next week.
See you.